These are our fall potato planting from Wood Prairie Family Farm. Yep, right underneath. Wow. Let me get you out into the sunlight a little bit so you can see the glint off that purple. Guten gardening, everybody. We're about to have a potato harvest unlike just about any other I've done because I have to be careful in this potato harvest. We've got some Adirondack Blue fall potatoes growing here. So it's a fall potato harvest, but I've also got some beets that I'm not ready to harvest out of here. And they're growing amongst each other. So I'm gonna try to harvest these Adirondack Blue potatoes and also keep the beets rooted. Let's see what we can do with this potato harvest. And I think you can see these beets have plenty of life left in them. They're growing pretty good in here, but we need to get our Adirondack Blues out of here. And you'll see spots where the potato plants themselves have died back. I mean, the weather's cold now. We've had multiple days of freezing weather. So we're gonna get these out of here no matter what. They've been in the ground for about 86 days at this point. And so we'll see what kind of size we get out of these Adirondack Blues. Now we got these seed potatoes, organic seed potatoes from Wood Prairie Family Farm. And oh, now this is interesting. You see how far out these potatoes are from the main plant. They're really spread out. But these are our fall potato planting from Wood Prairie Family Farm, and the Adirondack Blue, and we've actually grown Adirondack Blue and we've grown Adirondack Red in the past, but these potatoes have tended for us, and I like this variety a lot. It's more of a purple color than a blue color, but these potatoes have been not as productive, I'll say. I think the Adirondack Blue doesn't produce at the level of some of our other potatoes, but they are so tasty. So this will be our third year in a row of growing these potatoes. Now, when I say that they're more purple, let's see if I can shine one up for you. The skin scraped a little bit so you can see that purple. Let me get you out into the sunlight a little bit so you can see the glint off that purple. Even though it has that purple color, it is called Adirondack Blue. Now, given the fact that it's been so cold, it's one of the reasons why I think these potatoes have died back sooner than they otherwise would. Oh man. You know what that is. Thanks, squirrels. But also, you know, that might also hint at whether or not this is the best fall variety. It's an early potato, an early season potato, but is this going to be the best variety for our specific area for fall? Our Prairie Blush potatoes were so nice, and we got some really great size out of them. They also weren't the most productive, but great size. And we just tried some. They're so good. I was also wondering if, you know, because the beets were already growing, if they were going to create any problems for the potatoes as they were developing. But the potatoes seem to grow just fine. They seem to develop just fine. And you can see, again, quantity-wise, not a ton, but we also only planted a few of the Adirondack Blues in here. I think I have about a half a dozen plants or so. I didn't really expect a ton of production, but we have done better earlier in the season, like when we've planted our Adirondack Blues at the beginning of the season, so they had the full season to grow, even though, as I mentioned, they are an early season variety. You see my beets right there.
I'm going to briefly interrupt this video just to remind you that we do have a great indoor growing season coming soon, so get ready for some indoor gardening content and another video in the near future where we request some things from you for an upcoming live stream.
All right, let's see what we got right down in here. Well, I suspect I might miss some because I'm trying to be so careful, and I'm not sure the exact depth I need to go down to. Plus, they're such a dark color that it can be a little bit difficult to find, to see, to know you've pulled one of these potatoes up. Let's see. Yep, there's some more over here. Again, that's what I'm talking about. It's like they're growing so far from where the plant started that I'm thinking I have to go almost underneath some of the beets here, but I don't want to disturb the beets. I mean, the end result might be that we end up with some volunteer potatoes in the fall if I can't get them all out of here. But man, they're looking so tasty. For those of you who've never had the purple or blue potatoes, I think it's something you have to try at least once because it's It's just different. These are a waxy, nice waxy potato. And, oh, yep, right down in here, all the way down. Now that's the size I'd love to see. I'd love to see more of these. You know, we also grow the purple magic molly potatoes. Yep, right underneath. Wow, look at how beautiful. But we also grow the purple magic molly potatoes, and those are elongated. They're like a fingerling potato. These are not. These are more of the, I guess you would call it the traditional potato shape. Just making sure as I'm digging underneath here that I'm not impacting the roots too much of my beets. Hey, not too bad so far. Again, not a huge amount of productivity, but we have had some that are pretty good size. And enough here if I want to save these for next season. I can definitely eat a few off of here and then plant them again. In all likelihood, though, that planting will be at the beginning of the season, especially given, there we go, especially given how well a lot of our potatoes did this year. When given that full growing season, I think that makes the most sense. And we can pick other varieties that are going to be even better in the fall, at least for us here in Zone 5, Wisconsin. But also, again, they were competing with the beets to some extent. So there's that piece as well. But all that being said, we got some pretty decent potatoes out of here. So that's not so bad for a quick potato harvest, a quick fall potato harvest here in Zone 5, Wisconsin. Well, believe it or not, of course, it's right down in the middle of everything. I almost missed one potato, and that one potato is one potato. Let's see if there's anything else attached. I have a sneaking suspicion that if it is, yep. It's all the way underneath. 2 potato. So just getting a couple off of each one. We can't leave those behind. Well, folks, it wasn't the biggest harvest overall, and I think what we'll do, again, I mentioned it in the video, we'll be planting these earlier. We'll be planting them earlier. I don't think we'll grow these as fall potatoes in the future, because we've had some really good success when we've planted them earlier. And I'm going to put a link to that video in the description about our original Adirondack Blue harvest, so you'll be able to see that. That being said, these are going to be very tasty. And if you haven't grown your blue potatoes, your purple potatoes before, this is a great variety to get started with. Hey, if you're interested in any of the organic seed potatoes that we've been growing this season, most of which we got from Wood Prairie Family Farm, we have a link for 5% off in the description to Wood Prairie Family Farm, so you can click that link. Use our code Guten at checkout to get that 5% off. Hey, if you enjoyed today's quick fall potato harvest, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.